Music Association of Central Texas.
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 It's all about live music.
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 A rock.
Yeah. MACT. The
All right.
podcast.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. Howdy, guys. My name is Stephanie Chavira. I'm your host and vice president of the association. Today we have with us, and welcome to episode 2. I don't know why I forgot to say that. Today we have with us the current president of the association, James Stone. James was voted into the presidency about, maybe 2 months ago?
Yeah, something like that.
But has been on the board for quite some time now.
Yes, that's true.
How long?
I was trying to figure that out. I think it was like the end of 21 or the beginning of 22.
So is that when you join as a member, or is that when
no,
you...
I was a member a couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
actually maybe 5 years.
Okay.
I've always felt like if you're going to be a musician, a serious one, there's always some sort of music association, and you ought to just join it.
All right.
That's why I joined. I mean, and you know, opportunities come up and things like that, and I never think I'd be running it. But
By the way, do you know where the camera is?
the camera's right there,
Yes,
isn't it?
right there.
Yeah, but you're over here.
But I'm over here.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll be
Yeah,
okay.
it's pointing right at me.
It is pointing right at you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I guess you already told me that. Give us a little quick rundown of your time with the association, James.
Well, let's see. There was a time when MACT was just meetings up in Waco, and they were cool, and we'd have a little jam afterwards and things along those lines. So it was once a month. It was a little spotty at times and stuff like that, but that was probably all that was going on. They did start doing some festivals down on Austin Street in front of the Hippodrome, and I got
remember
involved
that.
with one of those and did sound for, 6 bands. It was super hot that day, but it was pretty cool, and I think that's, when they started doing some kind of a festival and highlighting, people, and they got one going the next year, but it wasn't until I was actually on the board. And Casey was also, I don't know if you knew, but we were started on the board almost within the week.
Mm-hmm.
The same, kind of like you did with other people. And
Who
and
recruited you?
Top.
Todd Clark,
Yeah.
who was our episode 1.
Yes.
He just left.
Yes.
People are going to think that I don't have clothes.
You got
But-
close.
But, well, because episode 1 was recorded like literally 10 minutes before you got
Yeah.
here. So it's like I had the same clothes.
Oh, I
shoulda-
see.
I should have probably changed
No,
clothes.
you got an MAC
but
t-shirt on.
Yeah,
That's good.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Good publicity.
Yeah.
How long is a president term, James?
3 years. 3 years. That's what it's supposed to be.
But you were also VP before.
I was VP before, and a board member also. Just-
Okay.
So, but president's supposed to be 3 years.
And vice president?
I think it says 2, but I think it says basically a minimum of 2 if you can.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What are some of the main duties and responsibilities of your position?
Well, that one was a big one because the organization is going through a lot of changes even as we speak, and a lot of it is since you came on board, and it's gotten crazier since then. But the main thing I think the president has to do is make sure that all of the events that you have planned come off. Gentle nudges for people to get certain jobs done and things along those lines, and have some sort of a vision of where things should go. I think that's part of it. Second part of it is, trying to figure out. I mean, things morph into what they will become you can't force things. And watching how we've changed, the pandemic really just destroyed a lot of stuff. We used to have the groovies. It's not really something that we'll probably do anymore, just because we don't have the resources more than anything. I'll be honest with you, to do it properly, and all it does is just tick everybody off that, well, I'm better a guitar player than him or whatever. It's just probably not the thing that we should ever do again. Maybe somewhere down the road, but I don't know. So now we've kind of morphed into, and actually you've been very, very helpful on that. But this year is one of the first years that we've got a jam meeting every single month. We had done singer-songwriter a couple of years ago, but this last year was the first year we did one, right, which you've been extremely helpful on. And we're going to do another one this year, and this time we gave the winner a shot, but we couldn't pay anybody at the festival. We just haven't. We actually did last year, but we couldn't guarantee it. This year we're guaranteeing spots, and so if you're hearing this and you want to be part of that singer-songwriter contest, it's not till August, but that's the kind of thing we want to do. And two of those people get the top two get a spot,
first and second,
a paid gig at the festival in November.
Plus, they get a check for winning the singer-songwriter competition.
Plus, yes.
So they get double check.
Yeah.
Double whammy.
Yeah, which is nice. And there's usually quite a lot of good tips. Plus, all of the bands outside will also get paid pretty damn well for a 45-minute spot. So,
yes. Yes.
So we're looking for the best and the brightest.
Yes. So make sure, guys, make sure you join. We already told you how to join. And if you didn't see episode 1, go to MACTX.
MACTX.org. And if you haven't been out to that website, I'm the IT guy. That's how I ended up getting into this organization in the beginning. And so, we really expanded our tent pegs, per se. It used to be very Waco-centered. I can't even say it is at all anymore. I mean, we have a few members, board members from up here, but I'm from Temple. Casey's from Cameron. So it's just not the case anymore. But the websites have really enabled that. When you go there is a list. I mean, we have a lot of things we're planning on doing. Steve should have some other stuff done. But for the moment, right now, there is all of the venues that support live music. Probably 79 out there, and it's linked to their Facebook page. If you don't know where to go to play and you're a musician, you should go check it out. There's also some links to Facebook groups that are music-oriented in the Temple, Belton, Killeen, Waco area. And, Facebook, like one of the few things that musicians have where we can advertise our shows for free.
Yeah.
But you can really hit literally thousands of people if you do it right. And I put instructions. So we'll see if anybody reads it and follows it.
Yes, so make sure you go join and utilize, if you're a member, utilize all the tools that we have under the website. And if you're not a member, make sure that you join as a member so that you can actually take advantage of all that.
Let me add something to that, because this is always the argument. Musicians are broke, and if you're out there and you're broke, I'm talking to you, okay? We don't charge for anything. We don't make you become a member to get anything, although there are a few bennies. And I'm working on, I've got a new sticker coming out, which is
new stickers.
Member benefits inside. I don't know if Top told you about that.
Yes, he actually did talk about it. Okay. So
not sure who that person's going to be to really interface with all of the venues, places like Guitar Center or something like that. But we're trying to make it such that maybe you get half off your first drink. I don't know, at some places. Maybe you get 10% off of a guitar that, if it's a $2,500 guitar, that's very inexpensive. It's only $30 a year, but there's so many opportunities. If you don't feel it's worthwhile to you, which I don't understand, but whatever, you don't have to become a member, okay? Very, very important. MACT is about live music and promoting live music in Central Texas. Amen. Period. It doesn't
Hallelujah.
matter what you're doing. One of the things at our jam that I was, get weird about this stuff, but it made me very proud was we went in February. We were at O'Brien's for a jam, and a kid got up. Was he like 16, 17? Played the bass for the first time in front of people.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It is a huge deal. That's what we're about, and we're not, oh, okay, well, this is your first time. I guess we just won't have a spot for you. And because we ended up staying an hour and a half. Try to get
I was
everybody
past
in.
my curfew, and I got in trouble at home for being back home like 6 hours later. And
But it was that kind
it
of
was
stuff.
worth it. It was
makes
so worth it.
Yeah.
Because that brings me to this. What is your main focus or goal as the newest president?
To continue to do, well, like I said, we weren't being consistent with our meetings. We weren't being consistent with the jams. We were very consistent with the festival, okay, which is in November 2nd. But other than that, I don't think we were really consistent with the meetings and everything else. So one of my goals is to make that consistent, make our own board meetings consistent.
Yeah.
But there's so many other things going on. There's new venues coming in all the time. There's several festivals that have been going on and stuff like that. We try and be involved with as many of those as we possibly can. Like we were a judge at the, there was, 5 of us. And not all of us were board members, but we manned the judges thing at the block party.
Wake Up Block
At
Party, right
Southern
by
Roots.
Southern
That was
Roots.
just like a week and
Yes.
a half ago. And things along those lines, so that we're active and we're out there and we're meeting bands, we're meeting musicians, we're supposed to be the repository for all of that. So we're working on some software. It's Steve Bash, one of our board members. And we've already got a number of things done on the website. But if we could get all this information together and be a clearinghouse for live music and musicians, that would be really, really awesome. And so I'm really trying to work with the venues and also government. I got some contacts now in the city, newspaper, things along those lines that I never expected, but that's the idea.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
Where do you see the association in the next 5 years, James?
That was the hardest question you had on your list.
You said that about the last one.
Yeah, I know. This one's harder. I don't know. I think a lot of it's going to be from the success of some of these festivals and things like that we're doing. Is that, we are a nonprofit. None of us get paid. We barely have enough to support the festivals and things that we're doing. We usually break even. We've done this. This is going to be our 4th year at Salado at Barrel Brewery. But the first 3 years, we basically broke even every single time. So we haven't made a dang penny.
Yes, so make sure that you come out and support everybody. When you pay for your membership, that goes into our funds to help create more incentives for you guys. So
Yes.
Nobody's getting paid. We're not becoming rich. We're all volunteers donating time out of our heart because we have one common goal, which is to promote live music
Pretty
and
much.
to keep that flame alive within our community.
Yeah, and it's taken a big hit in the last couple of years.
I know. Damn COVID.
Yeah.
Ah, terrible. What is the mission and vision of the association, James?
The
Mission and
Mission.
vision.
Oh, all right. It's all about live music. That's our mission. So it really doesn't matter what it is, if it has to do with live music, with festivals, with venues, with musicians and bands and people starting out in the music industry. We've got some very experienced board members and other members within the group. I mean, if you're just trying to figure out what's going on in this area and you're new to this area and things like that, man, come to something just for the networking and things along those lines. And then all on the jams. I mean, if you're not in a band right now and you think you're ready, or at least you want to experiment with something, come to
meet.
one of the meetings and start meeting people. Find me, find you, find something like that. I'll go, go talk to that guy. What instrument you play? That guy needs a drummer. This guy needs so that's, if you don't know what to do and where to go and stuff like that, this is a good place to start.
It is.
Yes.
I love it. What has been one of the most challenging parts of your position, even though you have only been a president for a couple months?
I still have a day job.
Oh, I can't tell you about that.
That's the most challenging part of it. I'm very blessed, but because I write software at home and I don't have to work. I can kind of name my own times and things along those lines. And there are times when I don't have a whole lot to do, and there are other times where I'm buried. Last week's been an example, but that's been the most challenging part, because going from vice president to president, I'm really the only IT guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's constant. There's a lot of work. And you've been helping a little bit. Steve Bash has been helping a little bit and stuff, but it's all been done by us three. And getting photographs up, getting emails out, getting shows out, getting the graphics done, and all of the other stuff. That's what I was doing as VP. Now I've added all this other stuff as president.
It's a around the clock duty.
Sure is. Yeah, and I've been on phones, on all kinds of phone calls, stuff like that. I love it. It's been fun.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of time.
I tell my wife, it keeps me out of trouble, man. It really does keep me out of trouble. And like I told Top, it's very humbling to be rubbing elbows with people like you that have been doing this for so long, and that you obviously are successful because you're still continuing to do it. And it's so cool to do this. It's a lot of fun.
I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you, dude. What has been one of the most valuable lessons you have learned as a board member of the association? So not just as a president, but as a board member.
Man, a valuable lesson. I'd probably say this, and maybe it's just my personality and all that, but if you see something not getting done, say something. Bump somebody, nudge them a little bit, or just do it yourself, one way or the other, and get it done. It's like we all have jobs, we all have, our own bands and everything else. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of constraints on their time. Look, just so you know, right at the moment, I think all of the board members have been musicians, and except for, even Top and Tamara had bands for a long time. I don't think they have one right now.
Is Top, Tamara, you, Casey, Bash, Steve Bash.
Yeah, he's still playing all the time.
Patrick Shade's a musician,
exactly.
And then I'm a musician.
Yeah.
I guess we're all musicians.
Right, so we all have that in addition to the day job.
Indeed.
Yeah, but so it's, I mean, as a board member, I mean, if you can't do something, I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. Okay, but let me know that I can take care, or get somebody else to do it, stuff like that. So that's one of the other things.
I agree.
As a president, you got to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You ready to have some fun?
Okay, let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun.
Woohoo!
James, you're a very interesting character.
Oh.
You keep me laughing all the time.
Oh, okay.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? Oh, I'm going to make it really quick. I was born in Indio, California, and moved all over California, all the way up to Northern California. Then I moved to the Philippines and spent 2 years there in 1968 and 69. Then we moved to Nigeria. I lived there for a year in Lagos during the Biafran War. Then we moved to Washington, D.C., was there for 3 years. And then we moved to Nicaragua, and I lived there for a year. I should speak better Spanish than I do, but it just didn't stick.
Pero si hablas español.
Un poquito.
Un poquito.
This is your most popular sign. ¿Cómo se dice este? Okay.
How do you say this?
Yes. But then I moved back to California, and was there through high school, and Silicon Valley. Worked in it was the very first computer company, Osborne Computers. Very first networking company, a place called Televideo. Some of the very first multi-user operating systems. I was on the engineering review board, and then I got tired of the whole crap and went home and started programming, and I've been home since 1994. So And that's allowed me to play music whenever I want to.
Which is
Probably skipped I don't know how many opportunities to get stinking rich. I just don't care. I want to play music. So.
You know, money is not always everything.
No.
And richness and wealth is not always measured in a monetary value.
No. And, I always talk about this, too, is what's your woohoo moment? Some people like to jump out of airplanes. Some people like to, drive a kayak off a cliff or whatever that people do and everything else. You had one of the questions in there was about a memory. And made me think of, a couple of different things. But one of them was I think it was like a New Year's Eve party or something like that. And there's one bar in this little town, okay? Pretty good size and everything else, but there's probably 300 people. And there was no room to sit or anything else. So they were all up in front of the stage and everything else. And, obviously... inebriated for the most part and stuff like that, but it was such a blast. I mean, it was kind of one of those things where I literally went outside and was woohoo. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
So those for me are the what I live for.
Yeah.
Or what's the other little thing? If you're in a band and you're a musician, there's two things you should know. One is musicians communicate on another level. We're looking at each other, we're playing music and things like that, and just by hearing what you're doing and all the rest of the other stuff, the timing, what note you're going to go to, perhaps a little run where we both go dee-dee-dee-dee-dee together, things like that where it sounds tight as hell. And those things, plus there's just little looks and everything. And unless you've done it, you don't understand.
You don't know what you're talking. Yes. Yeah. It's almost like there's this certain telepathy from each other. Like, you can't literally read what the other musician is about to do or know, and you're anticipating what they're going to do. Yeah. And that's what makes music so beautiful. That is this level or channel of energy. And with musicians,
unique. Very unique. And unless you've been there and you understand it, and the more experienced you become, the more heightened that, or at least I think you tuned your head into it. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is sometimes when you're playing and all of a sudden everybody hits this, that sounds killer, and you have that little look between you. Sorry, those are, anyway, this thing.
No, I definitely agree. What is your history as a musician? When did you start playing? What made you walk this path?
I started out in 4th grade playing the cello.
Really?
Yes.
You're a nerd.
Yeah, I was in orchestra. I really was very lucky. But then we moved overseas, like I said, in 5th and 6th grade. But when I got back and we were in Virginia, I got back into orchestra.
And when you say we, talking about
family.
Your family.
Yeah. And in 8th grade, they have a thing called the Northern Virginia Symphony Orchestra. And it's all the kids from all over the state. And they get together and you do 8 days of 8 hours a day. And it's all sight reading. It's all, it's very fast. And then we got to play the Kennedy Center.
Oh. With
all the families and everybody there. Place was packed. Just opened. And so it's like you get the bug. I mean, one of the most wonderful sounds to me in the whole world is when everybody's tuning to an A and you got 75-piece orchestra and the music, the horns and all that other stuff. I mean, it's a cacophony, I guess is the word, right? But anyway, and then you would ask when, like, one of the most influential, it's been a couple, but the teacher I had in 9th grade took us out gigging, PTAs and all the rest of the stuff when we were just doing quartet. But, that was it. I mean, I was bought and sold back then. Anyway, when I got out of high school, I got in a band called Mad Stone, believe it or not.
And it's still
another guy
Mad
named Mark
Stone.
Yeah, and it's a long story how I ended up with it again. But anyway, I stunk. I played bass for about 10 years, but I always played guitar. And, because, you'd be in a campfire with some friends and sing songs and stuff.
You're trying to impress
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
girls, too.
And I kind of went around from a lot of different bands and things like that, but probably the biggest one was a band called Onyx. We played Santa Cruz area in California. Had, songs out. The radio would tell us where we were, all the time and stuff like that. We house band in a place called Crazies. Did that for probably 4 or 5 years. And then moved to Central California, or at least in that area, and got involved with a Roy Orbison tribute band. Matt Stone was being born at that time, more like 2005.
I always thought
Reborn.
I always thought Matt Stone had to do something with your last name.
Yes, it did. It was Mark Madsen and James Stone.
Oh.
That's how it started.
That's a good...
But I had a group of guys together, and the guy goes, well, hey, what's your band name? I popped out. It's been Matt Stone ever since.
like it.
Yeah, just the Roy Orbison tribute band, and they're still touring. I did that for probably 10, 11 years, was all big theaters, all over the West Coast, Phoenix, Las Cruces, Albuquerque, even up into Portland, Olympia, all over California, played in Knoxville, played in Bristol. They were all large theaters, and a lot of them were sold out. And it was quite an experience because I had to deal with all the different theaters and was one that talked to everybody, make sure everything was right, all the rest of it. And some amazing experiences in that, which was really cool is my wife was a stage manager. And so she went with us. She got paid too.
That's awesome.
We got paid pretty well, so it was kind of cool. Anyway.
What do you love the most about playing music?
Those woohoo moments. I think entertaining. I love getting out. Man, I think when I first started playing, I was so afraid of turning around. I would look at the drummer and sing because I was afraid to turn around and look at the crowd. That's not a problem anymore.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And tell us about your personal projects. What's Matt Stone? Where are you playing? Do you have singles out, original music?
Yes.
When is your next gig?
I have 3 CDs out. I have a lot more music before then, but that's what we have put together since 2005. There's some great tunes in there. All of them were, done in the studio. We still play some of them here and there, and we've been recorded at Texas Music Cafe, so if you want to see some live recordings of those, if you ever want to get any of the music, let me know. We got T-shirts and things like that. We just played yesterday at O'Brien's Irish Pub for St. Patty's Day, which is probably the biggest gig locally.
In Temple, Texas.
I don't really want to travel very much anymore because I'm old. And
it's tiring.
It is tiring. Listen,
and I'm just getting started, and I'm already like, God damn.
Well, I tell you, we used to do what I call a tour. Okay, it's a Friday, Saturday night. This is what the Roy Orbison thing. So, as an example, you leave Thursday, you drive until you can't drive anymore. Stop somewhere and make it to the theater by 2 p.m. That's when we tried to get there by to pack in. Okay. So make it to in that case, Phoenix, okay? My God, they've got such a beautiful, it's one of the nicest theaters I've ever been in, right? But anyway, so, and some great memories from that place, because I got to have the bass in the floor. I was playing bass. It's in the floor, and it's great big old, over the orchestra, so it's hollow. And every boom, boom was in my feet. Yeah, it's just an awesome experience. But anyway, so, you get there too. You get there by, sound check is till like 7, okay?
Yeah.
Literally takes you that long. You got to get the slide stuff. This was an hour and a half choreographed show. And then you get like a half an hour to go get a beer, and show's at 8. You get out of there by 9:30, 10. You got to pack up your crap, and maybe sometimes we have something to eat, or if you're too tired, just go back to your room. Get up the next morning
And do
drive
the same
to
thing.
Tucson, get there by 2 and do it all over again. And then you get home, like if you're lucky, Sunday night.
Yeah.
And that's just 2 shows.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But your wallet was fat.
yeah. It's not as glamorous as everybody
No, it's
puts it out to be, because you don't even see anyone really. I mean, after the show, you go out and have a meet and greet and things like that. But anyway,
I love it.
yeah.
I love it. Are you playing anytime soon? Do you have any gigs coming up?
Well, apparently I have one that's with you.
Yes.
This is for the Eclipse thing at brand new place, man. You got to go check it out, Playa Azul. It's where the old Club 190 used to be, I guess. Just outside of Temple. Where 363 and 190 meet. Got a big stage out back, and a huge area inside. And he's really done a nice job with the place, and so.
Which by then, so I think this is gonna be released around May. So by then, the festival is already gonna pass. But April 8th, but May 25th.
Yes, true.
VFW.
Yeah, it's
Harker
VFW in
Heights.
Harker Heights. It's another festival.
Yes.
And by the way, if you're part of MACT and I don't know you and you don't know them or anything else, and somebody contacts us, that's one of the reasons you might want to come to a meeting and at least make sure, get up and play a couple of songs so we know something about you.
Are, yes.
I'm going to give you we did one in February, a band called X Factory. Okay?
Oh, yes.
And they came up and played us 3 songs, and it was like, wow, these guys are really, really good. And they were missing their bass player who sang, okay, but they still did an awesome job. And it's important because we're trying to choose bands for different things. And I'm like, I want to have X Factor on the stage. So
I actually snatched their drummer for Corky for the Playa Azul gig, and I am so excited to work with him because this guys are
Corky's great,
very talented,
yeah, he's great.
Very talented.
Yeah. And so I mean, and that's some of the thing too. And people don't realize how incestuous the music community can be, and I don't mean that in a weird way. I mean that in that, for instance, with Casey's band and my band. Casey's played in my band, Jaden played in my band, Joshua's played in my band. I've played in Casey's band as a bass player, which, just filling in and helping. And, every band, if you're in a band and you get 2 or 3 people there, or maybe you got 4 or 5, you need a backup for everybody.
100%.
The person in charge, like in your case, you're the singer, it's your music.
Yeah.
There's no replacement. There's no replacement really for me if Matt Stone, was there. But I need, always looking for another drummer and stuff like that. Matter of fact, Richard Shelton's my drummer. That's how I ended up with him.
And nothing personal. I mean, sometimes it's a lot of people don't understand that running a band is just as running a bakery or running a smoke shop.
It's a business.
It is a business. So the more serious you are about that aspect, the more you understand that it's not personal. So, if for some reason, my drummer can't make it, well, I'm sorry, next. And if that drummer can make it, then next. And if that drummer can make it, then next. Because that's how business is. Same thing whenever somebody's scheduling people. You know this because you've told me. You've worked with people and all that stuff. You got to move on.
Yeah. I will say that there's been people in my band, and I'm saying this is just reality, that couldn't play anything but a Saturday. And that was okay when we were first getting started, but then we kept getting jobs on different days and everything else. And I got to say, I can't play the gig because I don't have, in this case, was a bass player. Love guys, still friends, great friends and everything else, but it was kind of like, man, I got to find someone else,
You got to fill it up.
Yep. So it is what it is. And you should never take any of this stuff.
Can't.
Right. Either you are the guy that sings and plays.
Yeah.
Right. But if you play some other instrument and you're backup and support for another band, find 2, but be good at your craft. Be really good at your craft. Practice.
Yes.
Rehearse. Of course, that's a better word. Anyway, right.
Do you have a website for Matt Stone?
MattStoneBand.com. But you can find it almost anywhere. If you put Mad Stone out on YouTube or Spotify or anything else, you'll find it everywhere.
And you have merch. So merch is the easiest and most effective way of supporting us as musicians. MACT also. We also have T-shirts. It's T-shirts. So you see, it has all the you can't see, but it's from the festival in November. Buy it. If you buy stuff from Target and Walmart, you can help support your local musicians.
Than something that just,
Yeah. And it's got
For
all the
some-
musicians' names in the back.
for some
It's got
college
Morgan
in Tennessee
Lee
or something.
and
Nothing
John
against
May
Tennessee.
and
Yeah.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's some great. Yeah, this
I think
was-
it's a great T-shirt.
Yeah, that was Hoosier Brothers this year.
Is it Hoosier
Yeah.
Brothers?
Yeah.
Yes, shout out to the Hoosier Brothers. All right.
All right.
You think we're done, but we're really not,
Oh.
because I have a surprise segment for you.
Uh-oh.
And this is fun.
Okay.
I'm going to throw 10 questions at you,
All right.
and you're going to tell me the first thing that comes into your head.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Now, you cannot take your answers back. So if I ask you, what do you prefer, a hot dog or a hamburger? And you tell me a hamburger, that's what you're sticking with. You can't go back to the hot dog.
Is there a limit on the amount of time that requires?
No, not really.
No. Okay.
But it just needs to.
Okay.
You can think about it. I mean, it doesn't have to be like right,
Yeah,
right off
I
the
got you.
back. You ready?
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Fender or Gibson?
Oh, man, I have a Les Paul that I love.
No, Fender or Gibson.
Gibson.
Best brand of strings.
GHS.
Carlos Santana or Slash?
I am a Santana freak.
Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix?
Van Halen.
Favorite amp brand?
Mesa Boogie.
Shiner or Lone Star?
So what was that?
Shiner or Lone Star?
Shiner.
I knew you were going to say that. Big Red or Dr. Pepper?
I can't answer that. I don't drink either one of those.
I am very interested to hear the next one because you're from California.
Oh.
Whataburger or In-N-Out?
In and out.
Oh. Favorite guitar solo of all times?
Oh, Rock Bottom. Michael Schenker live version.
Very nice. If you could bring one musician that is no longer with us, who would it be?
Was a personal friend, Steve Burnside, which nobody really knows. But when Mad Stone was born, he had a band called Hester Prynne. And if nobody knows who Hester Prynne is, Scarlet Letter. Okay, there's a little girl there that got in trouble and wouldn't rat out her priest. But anyway, that was the name of the band. He had been playing his entire life. Just had some incredible conversations about song construction and things along those lines. And a lot of those moments where we're just playing together and laughing at each other because it's like, I can't believe how good this sounds, right? That kind of stuff. And anyway, I was playing bass for him because he just needs somebody to fill in and somebody else. And later on, because I still had Mad Stone. Okay, so Mad Stone played, and then Hester Prynne played, right? And he was like, I didn't know you could play guitar. So I became his guitar player, and then he passed away.
Oh,
So some of the songs that I play today
they're
are his songs.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep them alive.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I think music is one of the most beautiful legacies that anybody can leave behind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything that you would like to say to the people watching us today?
Well, first off, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And
for
thank
your
you for
time.
listening to this. But I do want to say, we could use a board member or two.
Yeah, that is true.
So if you're interested in helping, it's not as much work as everybody makes it sound and all that other stuff. But it's fun. I mean, if you like going out and visiting venues. I mean, if you're looking for gigs and you want a great way or a segue to be able to talk to places where you could probably get a gig, kind of thing like that, think about going there, bringing one of these stickers with you, getting maybe them to agree, or at least just putting the regular one on the door, and then going, hey, I see you got a schedule here and stuff like that. Here's my band and everything else.
Yes.
I mean, just saying. And more than anything else, this is the organization in Central Texas for music, for live music. If you are a musician and you play live music, you need to be involved with us in some fashion. We'd love for you to be a member as far as a paid member, but it's not required. So don't think that you can't be a part of this because you didn't pay your dues. We're not going to hold it over your head or anything else. To be honest with you, we won't even ask you, other than maybe emailing you and go, hey, their dues are due or whatever, stuff
But
like that.
there's perks to being a member.
But there are perks to being a member.
100%.
And if you're a professional musician, like you're playing and you're making money and you want to move ahead, it can't hurt you, So get involved. That's all I'm going to say.
We did it.
Yeah.
Episode 2
Episode
is done.
2 in the bag.
Yeah. That was fun.
Very cool.
Yeah. What you think?
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you follow us, like us, share, subscribe. Share with all your friends. Tell them about us. The more the merrier. Catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple iTunes, and then hopefully iHeartRadio. So
There you go.
we did it.
All right.
See you guys next time.
Music Association of Central Texas.
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 It's all about live music.
It's all about live music.
It's all about live music.
It's all about live music.